Sorry for getting cut off on the other video. As I said, got the Armor 200 screen protector, which I will throw on there. And that's a matte screen protector, so the reflections will be cut down. And supposedly that'll make the screen a little darker. But considering the brightness of this screen as it is, I don't think that'll be a problem. Right now this N900 is set on a screen brightness of level, let me open the screen, of level 2, and that is more than acceptable for inside use and outside use, in my opinion. You know, number one is going to be better for nighttime. Putting it on 5 is, I mean, this will burn out your retinas. Excuse me. It really will. So, you know, if you do put a screen protector on, don't worry. You know, I think if you shove it up to 4 or 5 for brightness, I think you'll be just fine. You know, with the protector reducing some of the brightness on the screen. This is right now back at 1, as you can see, a little darker, but trust me, with the lights off, this is what you need. Nothing more than this. Speaking of the screen itself, as I said, there's 3.5. Actually, let me go back and finish what I was going to say about the hardware. The keyboard. The keyboard itself is a 3-row keyboard, as you can see. The keys themselves, not too much on the depress. It doesn't travel too far, but it doesn't feel out of place. I mean, you don't feel unusual. You know, you pressed on something. You know, unlike the Droid or let's say the G1, you know, it's kind of hard to tell. Here, you could get away with, you know, what it is. These keys are rather small, actually, and they look small. However, for me, and I have pretty giant hands. My fingers are freaking huge. For me, the keys fit perfectly on my thumb. I don't think I would need a bigger keyboard. And you know, I think part of that has to do with the fact that the keys are slightly curved in the center. The whole thing is sort of domed, like a small little tiny pyramid, if you will. And that really adds a whole lot of feel, and I think that's why you can sort of get away with these small keys. 3 rows with the D-pad here. It's manageable, it's doable, not ideal. You know, you figure if you can have a keyboard, you might as well throw numbers, you know, as a dedicated row. But you know, no complaints. And the ergonomics are pretty good for a thumb board. I can't really complain about it. The backlighting for the keys are just fine. Everything's even. I think the Droid has something cool where the keys in blue, you know, the superficial keys or superscript keys will only show up if you press you know, for example, here, if you press the blue button, only the blue would show. This doesn't do that. It would have been cool, but you know, the keys themselves, as I said, lighting is fine, press is fine. Now, as you notice, the space bar is offset. Naturally, you know, first time using a different sort of keyboard, it'll take a little getting used to, but not a problem. Surprisingly, very easy to get used to. Not a problem at all having the keyboard offset. Why they did that in particular, I don't know. Maybe it's more used than the M key. I have no idea. But they did that, and not a problem getting used to it. Back to the screen. Unlock it, and you can unlock the thing 2 ways, by the way. As I said before, use the power key, then you get this unlock screen. And this power key is really, like I said, a the task manager in Windows. It lets you do a lot of things. It lets you break out of programs that are frozen, if there are any. I prefer using the slide lock. It's easier. I'm used to it with the other Nokias. And I think it's a genius idea, and it's something they should definitely keep on all their phones, or in this case, internet tablets. As far as the screen itself, like I said, very bright, 3.5 inches. It is resistive, but you know, you don't need a lot of pressure. You can flick through just fine, just like you would on a capacitive. Yeah, you need to press a little bit, sure, you know, but it's not going to kill you. And you know, if anybody, you know, like N900, you know, say, oh well, the resistive, you can't do anything with it, you know, I can't touch it. That's bullshit. Excuse my French. It's pure bullshit. It's just fine. Resistive, you know, offers you the advantages. You can use whatever you want. You can use the stylus, or you can use the finger. I think it comes down to whether you know, the UI designers actually design everything in mind for the finger. And I think with the MIMO 5, they have done that, and I feel that MIMO 5 is more, as far as UI goes, a more complete package than Symbian is. I mean, everything works together. You know, everything is the same in every screen. You know, everything is as you know, suspect. Once you learn the way the system works, you know, like always pressing into the background to get into the background, it works like that in every little option that you choose. If this was Symbian, there'd be a different way to get out of here, you know, than this screen, than the next screen. It's really weird. But here, everything works fine. Everything is made with the finger in mind. As far as you know, Nokia software goes, you know, it's up to the developer then for the apps or whatever to follow that lead, I think. And the app, you know, providers have done that. For example, the OM weather, for example. It usually loads up. Oh, there you go. You know, big old fat finger buttons. Not a problem. What do I have? Let's load it on here. What is this? Digitally imported. Okay. I think that wraps it up about the keyboard and the screen itself. Like I said, you know, you got to really try it. But I don't have a problem with it. It's smooth enough scrolling. You know, it's not glass, it's plastic, but it's smooth. Putting the screen protector on there will make it even smoother. I think it would be necessary. The screen is a fingerprint magnet as it is. It really gets greasy, and you really need to have, I think, a matte protector, something that will reduce the reflections and reduce the oil. Clear screen protectors tend to keep the fingerprints on them. Let me add more later.